Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to shorten the sleeves of a sweatshirt. But before I do, I want to tell you a story about this shirt because I find it kind of amusing. This man, I've done work for him before, and every time I do work for him, he always acts really surprised that I know what I'm doing, and wow, her work is really good. And it's the same man that on the last video I did that cuff hack because he just wanted it flipped up, but you can't show the hem of your pants, so I did my little hack on that. He was really impressed with it. I did some other work for him, and I can't understand why he's so impressed, but I appreciate it anyway. Appreciate the feedback. But he wanted these shortened to 35 inches, and I don't know anybody who has a 35-inch arm, but he told my friend she'll understand. Just tell her to hem them to 35 inches. So my friend gave it to me, told me what he wanted, and then we just kind of laughed at it. But I know what he means because he wears a lot of suits and dress shirts, and when you see a dress shirt that has like 18.5-inch by 35 inch, what they're referring to is the 18.5-inch neck, and the 35 is actually the measurement not of the sleeve but from the center back all the way down the sleeve to where you want it. And this is our mark here at 35 inches. So I just thought that was kind of amusing, that he would know, or that he is maybe testing me to know what he's talking about. And of course I do. So I thought that was kind of funny. So let's get started, and I'll show you how to shorten the sleeve. Okay, so I marked the 35-inch hem, but we need to find out how much we need to take off. So if you measure from the mark to the end, it's 4.5 inches. So you can write that number down if you need to remember it. But right now, what I'm going to do is take the stitching out. Now you could cut it and then figure out, how much you cut off and then how much, less you need to take off the length, but I'm not going to do that. I'd rather just take the stitching out. I don't have to do the math because math is not my strong area and get all confused. So I just keep it nice and simple. So I'm just going to sit here and take out all the stitching. Okay, with the cuff off, we're going to measure up 4.5 inches. Now here's the original mark, but we need to take off 4.5 inches. And now we line up the seam, the underarm seam of the shirt with the underarm seam, or the seam on the cuff. Let's do this first. You've got your underarm seam here. We're going to mark the other side with a pin. And we'll do the same with the shirt, so we can make sure that it's going to come, it's going to fit over evenly. Then you line up your seam on this side and your pin on the other side. Now, if this looks like you have to stretch your shirt too much to fit the cuff, or if the cuff has to stretch too much to fit over the shirt, that's what I meant to say, then you'll need to go in and taper the sleeve a little bit, but I'm going to see how it looks. It looks like it'll be fine. So I'm stretching it, holding the seam here and the pin here, and I'm stretching it until the shirt and the cuff are the same. There's no gaping. Align the raw edges and pin it in the middle. And then do the same with the other side. Sorry if that went out of the screen, the view of the camera. It feels awkward to have to hold my hand so far out while I'm working to make sure it's in the center of the camera. Now I'm just going to take my serger and serge all the way around it. Now I am moving this in just enough. It might shave off a little bit of the thread here, or the fabric here, but not much. That's what it looks like. Now what I'll need to do is use my regular machine, use a twin needle, and then go over this here to give it that same look. This looks like it's a overcast, and this is just a twin needle. So it won't look exactly, but it'll have the double stitching here. Okay, now that I have the cuff on, I was looking through my thread and I don't have two spools of the same color, but I do have, and I don't have a color that matches it exactly. So I pulled two threads out that I think might work. And this is one, and you can tell it's much more orange than the shirt, because the shirt looks yellow to me with a little bit of orange in it. And then I have this yellow, and it doesn't have as much orange in it, but it looks like it blends a little better. Now, I have always been told that if you have two threads, go with the darker, but I think the lighter one actually works better. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, since I don't have two spools of this color, I am going to fill two bobbins. One I'll use for the second needle in the twin needle, and the other bobbin I will use in the bobbin case. Hey you guys, look what I found. I was going through my bobbin case to find a thread or an empty bobbin so I can put some on, and check this out. An exact match. So what I'm going to do is spin some of this off of this one and onto an empty one, and that way I'll have the thread for the twin needle on the top, and then I'll find one that is very similar in color for the bobbin thread. So it looks like it's working out. Okay, here is the cuff. I'm going to do, I was trying to decide if I wanted to put both needles on one side or one on each, and it's really not as wide as the original stitching, but I think I'm going to try doing one on each side anyway. And for this, I'm going to lengthen the stitch to a 3. Okay, and that is the final product.